Okay, hello again, everyone. Welcome to our Bring Out Your Devs section. Now, Bring Out Your Devs is something we used to have a long time ago, and it was a completely written thing. So people would ask questions, and then we would write answers to them. We had a little bit of time to think about that. But today, you're in the hot seat. So we're just gonna,
Hooray.
so we're gonna talk about a little bit about what you do, and then you guys can ask him some questions. So this is Rob Argue. He is one of our junior gameplay engineers, and he has something that's a quote in his Safety Entertainment page that I'm going to ask him about because I don't understand it. What is discussing and analyzing metagames? What does that mean?
Well, it's particularly, I enjoy playing card games a lot, and there's, of course, the game where you actually sit down and here's your opponent, you have decks play each other, but then there's, outside of that, the metagame of what decks are popular, how can you make something to beat it.
Okay. So not the
so on and so
gambling
forth.
sort where you're counting all the math, not that sort.
No, but I like working with them, trying to break them, and running data analysis on them to try and find out interesting things.
There, Tyler.
I was confused until like.
I did not turn the light on. That says we're streaming. There you go. Okay, so building plots just played today. They're looking really nice. And how are you working this magic where they're really integrating well with the environment and you don't have the platform you used to?
Recently just added a bit that when the server starts up or when we create a plot, it goes across the plot, finds out where the terrain is everywhere, and then builds a height map, saves that off, and so when we go to place blocks or run stability, it knows where the terrain is, so you can actually build on the terrain now.
Okay. I'm going to check with Twitch because they seem to believe that there's an echo, and I want to make sure that that's not the case. Are you guys hearing an
It's
echo?
because I'm here, apparently. That just happens when I'm
You're supposed to
involved.
fix the things. When you're
No,
when you're near something,
no,
they fix
no.
automatically because, oh god, that's frightening.
No, we had the same thing when I was streaming.
I'm very curious because Rob does really cool stuff, so I was curious what the questions were and stuff.
You know,
And
you
I
can-
just basically
you can
Nope,
placed
it's
myself
good.
in the
stream.
middle. I know.
Making the echo up because of Rob. There's no echo.
We need to turn up echo for Rob?
There's no echo.
Okay, we'll turn it up for Rob. No, we're
Okay.
good. Okay, we're good. All right, so what are you working on right now?
Right now, I am moving into building scalability, which is just getting as many buildings and as big buildings as we can onto one map.
Okay. How many do we have now?
I don't know on Hatchery how many we've have. Recently, we've had a few hundred.
Okay.
I'm working on moving that to a few thousand.
Wow.
Some problems with it right now.
Is this something entirely new? Has this been done in a game before?
I'm not sure. I can't. Like, there are large block building games.
Right, but the destruction aspect seems to me something I haven't really played.
Yeah, there are some games that do have a similar idea of structural stability with blocks.
Okay.
I don't know that they've necessarily been done to this scale. I think someone pointed out Medieval Engineers recently,
Oh, okay. I've seen previews of it, but never played.
which has an idea, but they're using 2-meter blocks. We're using half-meter blocks, so we have 8 times as many to build the same structure. Also, we're going to be doing lots and lots of these in one map. So,
Cool. Okay, so now it's your turn, guys. You can ask him questions. You can ask Rob questions about things that he's working on now, not general gameplay questions, just specific things that involve building, involve destruction, involve possibly cubes, and that kind of stuff. So there'll be a bit of a delay while people write. They say you do the maths.
yes, I do maths. I enjoy maths. I enjoy when I use maths to break things.
Yes. Yeah, Francis Cosant, we saw some videos on Vine how destruction was happening, and it was really early in destruction, I think, when
Yeah,
things were
yeah.
falling out in
Yeah.
kind of clumps, but it's a bit different now.
That will be coming back. It's kind of hard to have rubble working and nice if buildings aren't working and nice. So we're making the buildings working and nice, then we'll put rubble back in.
Okay.
It's just that right now there are a couple known issues with it, so we don't want to put it in with those known issues. But I should shortly be getting back to fixing said known issues and putting it back in.
Step by step. Okay, Rocket Mist asks, what games have you played in the past, and have any games maps inspired you?
Oh, what games have I played in the past? That's so many things. Everything.
All the things?
I have played many, many games. The ones that I've played the most of are Magic the Gathering. I've played for like 16 years or something. Played a lot of
Yeah,
CS
we won't play with
1.6.
you anymore.
What?
FYI, we will not play Magic the Gathering with you anymore.
Why not?
Because it's just not fair.
Oh, it's totally fair.
It's not.
Played CS 1.6 for a long time. Played Natural Selection for a long time. TF2. Probably some other ones way back when. More recently, I've been playing. Just started picking up Path of Exile again. I played a lot of Minecraft. That's a game I've played a lot of.
Oh, that's probably helpful.
I do like building things.
Yes.
Not just tearing them down. I also like building things.
You do have certain sense of
Rocket
glee
League.
in your eyes,
Yeah.
though, when all of the buildings fall down, especially if they're backer builds.
Yes, yeah. I like destroying people's hard work. It's fun.
Okay, so Vasir asks, what do you foresee the biggest plot will be in-game, or will it be more of a design decision rather than a tech limitation?
That's the goal, is to make it more of a design decision than a tech limitation.
I see.
And we're already talking to some extent about, a plot doesn't necessarily have to be one giant plot. It could be several plots Voltron together. So, like, you have a guild area or something where you put multiple things in there. So we get more towards, instead of building everything on one giant plot, you have a city that has some houses and some spaces for roads or something of the sort.
I see.
Details aren't worked out.
Yeah. Making it work first. Okay. How difficult do you think it will be to destroy a wall or compromise enemies' structural stability?
Not a clue. That's a design thing. I will set it up so that they can put in whatever numbers they want.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're seeing probably some vines of people just, incinerating walls.
Yeah.
And, that's just for testing purposes.
Right now we have it turned way up so we can test it easier because, real game, we don't want you to break into a building in 5 seconds, but for testing, it's annoying to have to sit there for 5 minutes beating on a wall before you destroy anything.
Yes. Okay. What have been some technical challenges you've had to overcome? By emphasis.
It's a lot of blocks.
How many blocks is it, Rob?
It depends. I think the most we've had, this was pre-stability on a server, was hundreds of millions.
Wow.
With stability, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out in the near future, is how many blocks we can get in. And another one of the big challenges was just with how to do stability. This is a solved problem. Engineers do this. They have programs that do this. Unfortunately, said programs run slow. They do not run in a 30th of a second.
Okay.
So we've had to sort of reinvent the wheel there a bit and take this thing that's really nice and slow and turn it into, it basically works the same kind of, with some fuzzing to it, but it's fast.
Fast. Okay.
So we can do this real time.
How tall can a building be, like a tower? Astelante asks.
Well, that'll depend on the plot size and the stability of it, which will depend on the materials. So,
I think they mean technically, not this. There's somewhat of a design decision there.
yeah, it's mostly going to come down to a design decision there, but and it'll come down to what you build it out of and how you build it as to how high you can actually build.
Because materials will matter.
Yeah. If you build a tiny little wooden rod and try and stick a giant stone ball on top, it'll probably be crushed and break. If you build like a pyramid, more stable. Be able to build that taller. There's a reason the Egyptians built giant pyramids way back when, because it's a stable structure.
Stable, yeah. Okay. Logan Moss asks, do you expect that physics will be relaxed to allow more elaborate, unrealistic creations without being unstable? Well, you kind of answered that just now.
The goal is to get it to resembling the real world. I'm sure that we could tweak numbers so that more interesting things could be built, or have whatever other items like magic levitating platform or something that you can build on. I'm not saying we're going to do that. I'm saying we could do that.
Theoretically,
Yeah.
one could.
But to some extent, there are limitations to what we're doing, so things won't quite match reality, and I'm sure players will find a way to exploit that. We'll see.
Okay, Francis Coruscant's asking, so stability is not the only thing that's a factor, but the weight of the pile of blocks is a factor when you build as well?
Yeah. The forces that are being applied to the building are the weights of all of the blocks in it. So like if you start sticking things on top, that adds more weight that's being pushed all the way down through the structure, and there's only so much force something can take. And say like, a wood block can only support some number of pounds
When you put something
or
heavy on top of
kilograms,
it.
and you keep stacking stone blocks, eventually it's going to break.
Who is your favorite senior programmer and why is it me? From Brian.
No comment.
No comment. Okay. I don't know if this is something we can answer. Nasir asks, will there be different damage based on the angle a projectile hits a wall, i.e. basically glancing blows on structures? Do you have to hit something dead on, or can you not?
Not sure.
Not sure.
Right now it's just sort of you hit it. Maybe in the future we do that. It might also be that we, instead of applying damage, we can also apply a force, and that might cause it to tip over.
I see. So, don't know. Okay.
I don't know. That's an idea I had. Not sure if I'm going to go with it or not.
A common question we get is, what's the difference between our blocks and voxels?
Currently they're voxels. We also have the ability to apply morphs to the grid, which we're not taking a huge amount of advantage of right now.
Okay.
But that could, way back when Andrew demoed like a circular morph, so
Yes.
you could have circular towers, or it could be basically any shape you can come up with, as long as there's math that translates it from a grid to a position in space.
Got you.
Though probably at some extent we'd still voxelize.
Will there be support beams materials that will have greater stability so you can build a lot more solid frame that weaker materials can then attach to? They're very, very interested in this stability idea, apparently.
I don't know, that's design.
Design. Okay.
That sounds like a good thing to do, though.
Does it matter where you hit the wall? Like, is there a section that's more vulnerable, just in structures on regular building?
Yes, it will absolutely matter where you hit the wall. Just because of how the stability works. If you take out the one support that's holding everything up,
Bye-bye,
the entire
Keystone.
thing will come down. If you hit the top of it, well, you're only really going to damage the top of it. Taking out the bottom of a tower, though, pretty funny.
When things fall and are destroyed, do they hurt things under them? Do they destroy things under them? That's almost like a design decision too, but if something's in the building and things fall on it, will it hit it?
As soon as I get around to it, rubble will crush players.
Yay. Not we can't really ask King Lumagoo. That's right now everything's really accelerated for testing, so it's not that long to rebuild structures that have been destroyed. In the final game, though, that's going to change.
It will be greater than 0.
Greater than 0. Will the blocks fall vertically, or will they be pushed in directions based on physics or something similar?
Yeah, they'll fall, they'll hit things, they'll bounce off and or crush things.
So you can direct the way they're going to kind of collapse.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, you have 1 more minute, and then we're going to talk to Bull. Is there any last question for Rob? Rocks fall, everyone dies. Yes, that's pretty much it. Yes, and grab Bull. So, okay, everyone say thank you to Rob, and Bull will be on his way over here. Good job, all the questions. And
Yay, questions.
Yay! So,
Now to get back to
continue back
buildings.
to building things.
Or unbuilding things.
Or breaking all the things that are building. So while we wait, we're going to talk to Bull, who's our tools and pipeline engineer. So you might want to be considering some questions that might have to do with tools. So you can put them in there too. Bull's a little shy, so when he gets over here, we'll be very extra nice to Bull. If I can drag him over. Come on, Bull, it's okay. Okay. And here's Bull, our tools and pipeline engineer. So here, look, here's you in the cam. So you gotta come a little more this way. Alright.
Alright.
So reading things on your bio on the page for CSE, saying that you are crew chief, cable guy, and vehicle customizer. And you've worked on Star Wars: The Old Republic, Warhammer Online, and Carbine Studios. So for us, for Hamlet Unchained, now that you're here, what are you working on right now?
Tools.
Tools.
Yep.
And can you maybe describe for people that are not in the gaming industry what tools mean?
Tools are how the designer actually gets things into the game. So
Okay, and-
they're kind of like the glue that the way that Ben's craziness ends up in the game.
Interface. You are the interface for everyone.
Well, the things I make are the interface.
I see. So who are you working with in the studio now?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yep.
Not me. I don't get any tools. What's with that?
Well, sorry. I'll make you something.
There you go.
What do you want me to make you?
Okay, so what are some of the good things that you're working on lately, and what are some of the challenges?
Well, I'm still right now. I'm working with Ben over there to get his ability components in the game. He thinks in he likes using a spreadsheet, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to interpret what he's putting in the spreadsheet into actually, actual usable data.
I see. So what's the process like? Ben will work on something, he'll make an ability, and it has different kinds of values, and then he gives it to you, and then what happens?
Well, it's more like I have to think like Ben when I look at the spreadsheet. I have to
Okay.
learn how to think like Ben, and then when I can think like Ben, then I have to interpret that into data that can be loaded into the database and turned into abilities.
So that just means all the components have different, like you're working with each individual component, making that have values, like how's that all?
Yeah. He figures out how he wants the abilities to work in the spreadsheet, and he uses his skills. By the way, as systems designers, if you ever want to be a systems designer, you have to learn Excel. If you don't know Excel, like, stop what you're doing. If you want to be a systems designer, stop what you're doing, go learn Excel, because everybody uses it. He figures out how all the numbers work out in the Excel spreadsheet, and then in the past, he would have to go open up my ability component editor
Mm-hmm.
and enter all those little values in the system,
Yeah.
which is tedious. And that's kind of how I got involved in doing this, because I was a designer before this, and I think entering stuff into tools is also tedious.
Okay.
I like things fast.
So you make it so his data just goes without having to manually do that. I actually thought everyone manually did that. Wow, that's really awesome.
Oh yeah, everyone has to manually do. Oh, when I worked at BioWare.
Manually doing that.
Uh,
Yeah.
if any of my friends from BioWare sing, I think they'll know what I'm talking about, like Quest Manager.
Well, you had a really good newsletter article a couple months back on Excel and some of your experiences learning all of that and how that relates to
Mhm.
your tools. That was kind of an interesting read, so if you want to learn more about Excel and you're interested, you should check out the Unveiled newsletters and do a search for that.
Oh,
I use Excel. Can I come be a system designer for you? Allowed to read.
make like 150 of them, and then send them in, and we'll throw them away.
This year says that in order to think like Ben, you have to wear his jacket. Perhaps he could loan it to you to wear his leather jacket, and then you can think like him. Otherwise, no.
No.
No. Full says
No.
no.
Oh gosh,
I know.
Dojo. No, Dojo. Wow.
Okay, so now
Yes.
you can answer your questions on the tools and the things that Bull has described, and we'll get a little more technical possibly. So you've had a lot of work lately, Bull.
Yes. Yeah. Everything's coming together. Everything. Ben is going to have it worse because he will finally get everything that he needs to put the game together when he has to have the game together. Or after.
What is the most clever tool, or perhaps the one you're most proud of, that you've made for Camelot Unchained?
Wow. Probably this one right now. Although I've done some other work on just general improvements with the editor. I like to use command line, so I'm kind of introducing command line stuff into the editor. A little bit less point and click and drag stuff and do things like a power user, that kind of thing. Yeah. I am a code janitor.
That's not nice.
I make things work better, generally speaking.
How much of your own design goes into the editor tools versus people's unrealistic demands and wants? I
Well-
want a tool that makes everything amazing.
That's a good question because I have used a lot of game development tools and a lot of them I hated. So I try to avoid the things that I hated when I'm making my own things. It's,
Okay.
It's
Basically,
pretty
you
good-
just
it's pretty
really
good
like
position.
efficiency.
yes.
And,
Yeah.
and you have to improve the things that you don't find efficient.
Right. And I tried during this process with Ben to try to get his spreadsheet or Ben speak or Ben thought into the game. I was very reluctant to like go to Ben and say the data needs to be arranged this way because there are ways I can kind of figure out how to make the data figure out what he wants based on the entries that he made in the spreadsheet, but then it makes me feel bad. I'm like, you have to kind of change the way this works. Even though I kind of giggle and smile when I do it to him.
He's got a headset on. He's not going to even look at you.
Oh, he's probably busy trying to make the spreadsheet work.
Oh, here, Tyler is praising you, saying that there was an affirmation pop-up in the editor, and it popped up over the close button, and it would sit there for 2 seconds, and it drove him nuts, but you fixed it.
Yeah, I changed a line of code, and I'm a hero to Tyler.
Can you fix it so the perf pad doesn't hang in front of my inventory?
Oh no, I don't have anything to do with that. You'll have to talk to Rob because Rob likes to break things. I mean,
Oh.
fix things.
Right.
I don't know if it's Rob, but I like to blame Rob for about everything. So it's usually Rob's fault.
Have you ever had to wear the tiara of shame? What is your worst error that you're allowed to say? I don't think you've ever worn
think I've
the
ever-
tiara of shame.
I'm very. I tend to be thorough before I put things in the game. I did delete a whole bunch of stuff off the database once. That was kind of an accident.
But you
And
need the tiara of shame for
luckily,
that.
something else was broken, so we just kind of fixed it.
Nice.
Our backups were like not working as fast as they should be, and so JB saved me.
I see. Well, one thing you don't know about Bull is you're super excited about, game design and being an engineer, and you're always just really enthused. Every time we have stand-ups, you're just like, I learned this thing today, and it was great. And you're just really excited all the time about it.
Yeah, it's one of the fun things about going from design into engineering was there's always something new with this. Design is a lot of like, I know how to do this thing, and I'm going to make this, or a lot of like, make it like WoW. Oh, so much make it like WoW.
Ah, gotcha. Yes, Bull does have the best attitude.
No, I don't.
You
I do
too.
not have the best attitude.
No, the funny thing is that everyone in CSE is now chiming in. Like, there's not even any backer
Right.
questions, or any, Twitch questions, or any kind of questions. It's just all CSE making comments about
Have I
Bull.
ever? I haven't. I have been given the raccoon of responsibility. I've had
Yes.
I've had the narwhal of blame.
Yes, you have.
And,
But never the tiara. We don't really do the tiara much anymore. The narwhal
Yeah.
of blame is kind of the thing that goes around sometimes.
I think the last time I remember anybody wearing a tiara was Mark.
Yeah. When you build tools, do you find yourself using the same type of tools, or do they vary a bit from application to application?
We have most of our things are all rolled into one application, which is a WPF based C# application, and then we have a lot of this C++ stuff is linked into that. So there's some interop that goes on between that and the C#, but it's basically like a WPF front end. I know that JB wanted to make it like a JavaScript web-based kind of front end, like before I got here, and
You said
he
no?
wasn't allowed to do that. So I don't know why.
I see. No, I'm not gonna ask that.
What am I not getting asked? Are the mated pair Brian?
Are the novel of blame and the narwhal of fault a mated pair? I don't
mated?
know.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. You have to ask them.
I will. Okay. Let's see. What database do you use for your tools? You kind of said, right?
Like a blue one? We use MongoDB.
How do you really feel about bright wizards? It doesn't seem like a question applicable to
Is that somebody that,
your tools and pipeline engineer.
I hate
job.
bright wizards. That was, oh my gosh. I really hate bright wizards. I hate them a lot. They made my life so, no. I don't even want to, thanks for the flashback.
So are these tools for uploading and changing live content or for allowing designers to get their content for compiling?
It's pretty much live
Looks
as soon as
so
it goes in.
pained.
Every time we make changes, it will end up in the game shortly. We don't have to take anything down to compile. There might be something that I'm not thinking of right now, but when we get Ben on that chair,
You have
how about
mechanical questions.
how about a zillion mechanical questions for you? Well, I used to be a mechanic. What kind of mechanical questions do you have? I hope if it's a jet, I could probably answer the question.
Can you give an example of how it works to create one tool, like a very short summary from the steps of A to Z?
Oh, sure. So the first thing you do is figure out where it's going to go and sit down and think about where the data needs to be, how it's supposed to get there, and what kind of end result the database needs or whatever needs to pull off the database. So there's like a set of information that the game needs, and then on top of that, there's another layer of the things that make it easy to manipulate the data and also display it. So there's like one layer which is the thing that interfaces with the tool itself so that people can change values and it understands that you've changed a value and all that stuff. And that gets lumped down into a sort of an immutable object that can be used by the server, or it actually gets over to a builder that actually turns it into binary data, which gets shot out across the internet to the client, and you see it in the game.
That's one really cool thing about the editor, is how all the changes seem to be instant.
How do I fix my car? Don't break it. That's probably the first step.
What's more difficult to assemble, a jet or an IKEA couch?
An IKEA couch.
Do they both require an Allen wrench?
Yes.
Okay, 2 more minutes with Bull. So any last questions you have, throw them in there. Explain. No. If someone puts a banana in your pipeline, will it stop running? That doesn't sound good.
Depends on the size of the banana. Little ones, they're okay.
This has devolved completely. Also, Chad's now speaking in other languages.
What was
Okay,
my
there you go. What's your
favorite-
favorite moment in the studio thus far? That's hard. That's a hard
Oh
one.
man, thunderstorms. There's this one time when it snowed and like I was the only one in here. That was pretty fun. I was like, I have the whole place to myself.
Yes. We did.
I took my
stand-ups.
clothes off and I was running around in here. It was
You didn't.
great.
I think Max was there too, right? Or is it just you and Andrew?
I don't know if Andrew was here or not.
Is that
Was
the
it?
day like everybody from stand-ups was calling in remotely, and you were like, there was only like
No,
two-
this was like last winter.
Oh. a
I had
while
lived a
ago.
lot closer to the place. It was like, oh, I don't know what. See, I'm from New Hampshire, like a long time ago. New Hampshire, Rhode Island.
So snow's
Oh, the
nothing
snow
to
is
you.
just like, but then again, it's not really the snow; it's the other drivers.
Gotcha. We're probably not out in that kind of weather. Bull's favorite
did-
time in the studio was when he was alone. He
Yes.
just did say that, didn't he?
I did.
Aww.
I don't hate everybody. It's just
Just not everybody.
I don't hate
Just
everyone.
some people.
Like I'm okay. Genesee's all right.
Yes, all right. So do your tools deal with Max looks over? Oh my god. Okay. Okay, yes. So do your tools deal with terrain, characters, abilities, animations, all of the above?
Yes, all of those things. If yeah, pretty much everything. Can't think of anything that isn't make it pass through our tools. What?
Okay. So since the tools change the environment in real time, I guess it's possible for you to do some custom events where you act as a game master. Theoretically.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
That's more of like getting dev commands in that do crazy awesome things, and yeah, that's really fun when you can turn yourself into a dragon and start killing players.
Is that a tool you would make? A dragon tool?
No, I wouldn't make that tool. That would be just a little quick server command to change your model into a dragon model.
I see.
Breathe fire, because that would be fun. Or a unicorn. Unicorns are pretty cool.
Narwhals.
Well, we don't have swimming yet.
I guess narwhals could float.
Land narwhal, a flying
well, dragon
narwhal.
whales
Yeah.
could probably fly.
Just put little wings on them. That'd be good.
Alright, so everyone say thank you to Bull, and I think that's our stream. We are now at 7:02. So we will see you again, let's see, looking at the schedule, not today, but we'll see you again tomorrow morning at 10:30 with Tea with Genesee, 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific Time, and 3:30 UTC Time. So join us again tomorrow at 10:30. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you later. Gonna eat some dinner.